Alright guys, since recording the last video I realized that there was a problem, and that problem was there wasn't really any goal or any real goal of how we wanted the end product to look after we analyze and do all this programming stuff. So in order to combat that, what I was going to do was I got a stack of games I was going to look at. I was going to go through each one, cherry pick out different things I liked about it, have a discussion. But after going over one game, that video was already 10 minutes long, and I don't want to make long videos. I want this to be short, sweet, and fun. So I came up with this instead with just things that I could think about, with things that I wanted in the game, things I didn't want in the game, and things I don't know if I want in the game or not. So let's begin. Let's just start with the things I do want, which are the pluses. I want an overworld map. So like if you see in Dragon Quest, you have an overworld where you can walk around, and then you have those little boxes where you hit the box, and then there's like a town inside the box, and then you teleport into the town, and then you can walk around the town, and when you leave the town, you spawn on top of the box again, you can travel the overworld, and that back and forth of acting like you're, making the overworld kind of like small so that you can travel from place to place, and then zooming into the town, when you're in the town. I like that a lot. Small areas to visit on a single tile that represents a town, or a dungeon where you can go inside one end and come on the other end. They did that in Zelda too, and I feel like that's a really nice way to represent a map. So, what else? We want simple, chunky graphics. So the graphics are going to be simple, pixelated affair. Dragon Savior inspired. I made a game a few months ago called Dragon Savior, and that game is basically the type of graphics that I want to have in the project. We want a map editor, so that's going to be easy, just a place where you can edit the maps. I've done that before in other projects, so that's doable. Shops to buy things, vending machines. So it's just we want to have shops, places you can get items, a bed to sleep in. So if the place might have a bed in it, you could sleep in it. I don't know how I want to do the inn system or like a healing system, maybe healing items. I don't know how I want to do all that, but just a bed to sleep in I think is a pretty good starting point. Items and key items you can't sell, items you can sell. Or just have the structure for this so this is possible in the game. Prioritize simplicity. So we want to keep it simple. No classes, no jobs. It's just going to be no party, just one person on the quest, like in Dragon Quest. It's going to be grid based, so if you saw the original Dragon Savior game, you know what that means. You'll see it, and I'll link it in the description. It's a PC game. Buildings with doors, I mentioned that. So just, buildings in towns, you can go in with doors that lead to rooms that are inside that building. And not a side scroller. So there were some RPGs that were side scrollers I saw, and we don't want it to be that. So that basically hits all the main points I wanted to have. Now let's get into the questions. Is it going to be action or turn-based? And I put that question is because that kind of leads into many other aspects of how we want the experience to be. Originally I was intending for this project to be turn-based, but as I look into it now, I have a bit more experience with developing action. As you see with Dragon Savior, that's an action game. Most of my other games are action games. However, action, there's a lot of different types of action. There's Xanadu action, where you basically have I wouldn't call it an overworld, but you have a side-scrolling map, and when you hit an enemy or when you go into a dungeon, you get thrown into an overhead type battle arena where you can fight. You can either throw a magic beam at enemies that you can control, or you can do like a bump combat, like similar, not the same as East. You have East with the bump combat. No, I'm not talking about East 3, I'm talking about East 1 and 2, bump combat. Zelda with the sword swinging action. A lot of games took from that. And then in terms of turn-based, we have the original Dragon Quest, simple and bare bones. Final Fantasy with the party system, which I really don't want to have a party. I don't want to overcomplicate it. However, the system where if you go make a move and you kill that enemy, and then you move into that, and let's say you kill an enemy in Final Fantasy, and there's other enemies in the enemy's part. There's not going to be a party system, so take Final Fantasy off actually. Um, actually, no, there will be a party system for the enemies. There will be parties of enemies. I don't know. Will enemies have parties? That's another question. Will enemies have parties? Phantasy Star, I kind of like that battle system. I haven't played in a while, so I don't have a lot to say, but I wanted to consider it. Mother is kind of like Dragon Quest, but I really like the fact that it's like first person, and I remember just liking that battle system. It's probably not that much different from Dragon Quest, so I gotta look at it again. Octopath with the turn system where you can see who's going next based on the top, and you can do things to like take away people's turn. I was gonna say the press turn system from SMT, but I don't know enough about the differences between the two to claim it, so I'm just gonna say Octopath for now. Yeah. And then what are going to be random encounters or monsters to see? Random encounters, people don't like random encounters. I don't mind them, but I mean, I could see why they do. They might get annoying a little bit, but I generally don't mind them. Or monsters to see to avoid. If it's action, is the action going to happen on the overworld? Will action happen on overworld? Or in a battle arena? I don't know. Will it happen in the overworld or in a battle arena? Player variables. What variables do we need? That one will probably grow and change as the game progresses. And how to save. That's important. That's probably going to change and grow as the game progresses. But I think all of this is basically right now hinging on, is it going to be action or turn-based? And this system is very important for us to figure out. So I think in the next video we're going to be making some definitive choices as to which direction we take the project in. I want your input. I want you to tell me whether I should make an action or turn-based game. Which system do you recommend? Keep in mind I'm going to be kind of basing the design off of how Dragon Savior plays. So if you know how this game plays, I could still make this turn-based by having the enemy encounters be poof, jumping into a battle when you hit an enemy, or maybe the enemies don't show up in general, but like when I say Dragon Savior, I mean just the idea of moving around on a grid, you know. So this is the thing. This is it. So let me know how you feel about this, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.